Thanks for tuning in to Electric Bike Journal. In today's video, we're bringing you a tech check on two new offerings from Velotric. This is the Thunder 1 and the Thunder ST. Let's see what these new offerings from Velotric are all about. As part of our tech check series here on the channel, we'll be focusing on the new features, tech, and overall geometry and design of the new offerings from Velotric. They've really taken a swing away from the Nomad 1 and the Discover 1, a couple bikes we reviewed from them last year that were more of an all-rounder or easy off-road adventure style electric bike to what we see here now today with the Thunder 1. Off the bat, you see a lot of differences from their previous bikes to what we see here today. It's a very sleek, slim designed electric bike designed for, in Velotric's words, the grab and go lifestyle. Someone looking for a lightweight electric bike to do their urban outings on, and with the Thunder 1, maybe go explore some more off-road terrain on fire roads and gravel roads and enjoy that adventure lifestyle as well. The Thunder 1 is packed full of new tech and features, which we're excited to dig in on, but that really just speaks a lot to what Velotric is offering with their bikes by including and bundling in a lot of higher end spec and quality components into an affordable price point to just allow more people to get onto bikes and get all of those benefits of having the higher quality things that we see in more expensive bikes. With all of that new tech and those features that we're seeing in the Thunder 1, we're really impressed with what Velotric is offering, and it shows a lot of what they can do and what we'll probably see in the future. For now, the Thunder 1 is great for someone looking for an affordable bike that is very capable and lightweight, and we'll dive into the specs on this as we transition into those new features. The Thunder 1 is offered in two different models. This is the standard Thunder 1 for $17.99, and it comes in two different colorways, and there is a Thunder 1 ST for $14.99. Between the two, there are a few changes in the frame design and some of the component spec and tech, but they both share that 350 watt rear hub motor that has 45 Newton meters of torque
and a 36 volt, 9.8 amp hour battery that boasts an impressive range of 70 miles on the Thunder 1 with 52 mile range on the Thunder 1 ST.
They both have 700C wheels and an 8-speed Shimano drivetrain and use Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. So decent stack of elements that we're seeing in both bikes, and it's nice to keep certain componentry between the two the same while allowing you to choose what tech you may or may not need between both models. The Thunder 1 is available in two different sizes in both models. The Thunder 1 here in a medium and a large. The large that we have on test at 6 feet tall fits very well, and we'll get into the geo on that in a little bit. And the Thunder 1 ST is available in a small and a medium size. All of the bikes weigh in at very close to 36 pounds and is proving to be a very lightweight aluminum framed design, and it's very comfortable to ride around. And we see internally routed cables on both models, which helps keep that compact look, as well as that integrated battery into the down tube there. It just keeps this bike very low profile and really does not look like much of an electric bike at first glance, which is just nice to keep that stealthy low profile when you're out around town or maybe parking it at a bike rack. We'll be sure to include the full geo and specs on the website so you can look into that to find your sizing. But again, at 6 feet tall on the Thunder 1, the large is, I think, a very appropriate fit for myself, and would agree with them in their sizing. As you can see, the Thunder 1 has slightly more aggressive tires and does come in at a slightly higher price point due to some of that spec, but overall it's just a flat bar electric gravel bike. If you're looking for a more urban-centric bike, we'll jump over to show you the Thunder 1 ST.
This here is the Thunder ST model. It comes with a slightly lower price tag than the Thunder 1. It shares a lot of the same similarities. Just a few differences that it has. It has more street-orientated tires, a slightly different frame geometry, and a different seat. One of the cool things about the Thunder ST model is that it can connect with the Apple Find My ecosystem. You can connect this bike to your Find My app, and that way you can always see where your bike is going to be.
Velotric has really made a huge leap from the Discover 1 and the Nomad 1 by including a lot of really high-end quality tech into these new bikes. We'll jump into that tech starting with the new E-Series motor seen on the Thunder 1. The Thunder 1 has an E35 Plus, and the Thunder 1 ST has an E35. So let's check out the new features of the E-Series motor seen on the Thunder 1. Similar to the Discover 1 and the Nomad 1, Velotric continues their theme of in-house drive units in the Thunder 1 with the new E-Series motor. This is a Class 1 motor offering you pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour and still retaining those 5 separate modes of pedal assist. The motor has 350 watts of nominal power at 45 Newton meters of torque. Those numbers may seem lower than some other bikes on the market, but honestly, riding this bike, it never left us wanting more and delivered plenty enough power through all the different pedal assist modes, even on steep grades. In that steeper terrain, this motor is rated to supply continuous power on up to 10-degree inclines, which is a relatively steep hill, and after riding this in plenty of steep places, both paved and in wet, sloppy spring weather mud, it definitely was able to supply that power to continue to let you pedal up the steep terrain, not feeling unsupported by the motor. While out riding the Thunder 1 between the steep hills and just around town or on gravel road, another thing to note is that this motor is extremely quiet. Some of these geared brushless hub motors do have a whine and a tone to them. This one's only rated at a peak of 63 decibels, which is honestly really quiet, especially when the wind in your ears and just the road noise itself. You really don't hear this motor kind of at all, and that's nice to just let you be a little bit more free and forget that you are maybe even riding an electric bike and just enjoying the ride itself. One feature we are really excited to see Velotric include on the Thunder 1 is the inclusion of a torque sensor. We're big fans of torque sensors here on the channel, and those are the preferred sensor when it comes to electric bikes for us. We just like the natural pedaling characteristic and the power supply to the motor from a torque sensor. So it is very cool and neat to see that inclusion on the Thunder 1, and really makes this bike a lot more sensitive and natural feeling when out pedaling. Circling back to that 350 watt power from that rear drive unit, the torque sensor really is what allows this motor and that 45 Newton meters of torque to be plenty enough power and support for you in those pedal assist modes for, again, those super steep hills, as well as just maintaining that very comfortable pedaling feel on those flatter roads. I mentioned a lot of new tech that Velotric is offering with the Thunder 1, and that definitely starts with that E-Series motor. They are calling that a Smart Plus hub, and that just has all of this integration with a lot of the sensors that you would have on an electric bike that are all integrated into that motor. Additionally, they've gone that extra mile of doing those internally routed cables and the integrated battery into the down tube, just to keep a very slim profile, very stealthy looking, and keeps this bike lightweight as well. Expanding on that new tech, on the Thunder 1, this uses the E35 Plus drive system, so it is a little bit more sophisticated than the E35 that's on the Thunder 1 ST. The Thunder 1 is a IoT device. It has GPS capabilities, Bluetooth connectivity. There's an app that goes with it, which I'll talk a little bit more about the app here in a second. And it uses a fingerprint sensor on the top tube here to press on there to activate and turn the bike on. It's just like an additional level of security to make sure that no one else is powering your bike on and taking it out for a ride without your permission. The Thunder 1 ST, not having quite as many of those smart capabilities, does simply have a standard button in that same location. It looks very similar, but it does not have, again, that smart tech that the Thunder 1 itself has. When it comes to the app, there are a lot of cool features on the app. By connecting it and pairing it to the bike, you are able to lock and unlock it. It will begin recording your ride and tracking how many miles you're doing. It even goes as far as sharing with you the data on what your footprint is from choosing to ride and go that distance, and just kind of how that offsets driving a car. So it's cool to kind of get some of that real-time data to just make you feel a little bit better about riding. Additionally, that's where you would program that sensor with multiple fingerprints if you wanted to, just make it easier to kind of maybe have all 10 of your fingerprints in there, or maybe if you live with other people that are totally okay to ride that bike with you. You could program their fingerprints to accompany yours so that they could ride the bike as well. As mentioned, this is an IoT device and it does have that GPS capability. So it does have a tracker on there. In the app, you're able to see where the bike is at all times, and in case of theft and it going away from you, you'll be able to track it and find it, even if it's turned off. And there's even in the app a way to set a theft alarm. So if it is in that theft mode and it starts rolling away, unless you choose to unlock it from the app or a fingerprint.
And just let you know with the app that, hey, something's not right, you should go check on your bike and it will ideally prevent any theft from happening.
This is just cool tech that they're including into this bike to give you a little bit more peace of mind when you are locking it up at a bike rack, or maybe it's on the rear of your vehicle in a bike rack while you're traveling, to just know that you've kind of got eyes on it at all times. That feature and that GPS capability is also included on the Thunder 1 ST, and it does integrate with the Apple Find My feature. So if you have an Apple device and you have the Thunder 1 ST, you can have that GPS tracking through that Find My feature and also have eyes on your bike at all times. Now, all that tech may seem a little overkill for an electric bike, but honestly, it does bring a lot of peace of mind when you're out riding and gives you a lot of real-time data, which is just nice to keep track of in regards to riding and keeping track of where your bike is. Additionally, within that app on the Thunder 1, you're able to switch between 3 different riding modes, and those are 3 different calibrations within the tuning of that motor and how it supplies that pedal assist. There is a city mode, an adventure mode, and a max mode, and between those 3, the city mode will be the most efficient and kind of more calm and tempered power of pedal assist, whereas the adventure and the max will just continue to creep up in how it kind of has a more aggressive or steeper supply of that pedal assist, depending on which mode you're in. Now, all that tech and those cables and kind of everything that would be on this bike is integrated and internally routed in a very nice, sleek, stealthy looking frame. Velotric uses 3D liquid forging technology and hydroformed aluminum to design a very stealthy, slim, and lightweight electric bike while maintaining a very high security of strength along the way. By no means is this bike so lightweight that it would be brittle. Now, that 3D liquid forging technology and hydroformed aluminum might not mean anything to you or even be terms that you've heard before. When it comes to the bike industry, this is something that we see often in a lot of aluminum frame bikes, and it allows the company to maximize the effectiveness of each and every tube on the bike for not just kit compatibility with integration of, say, a battery, but also find and develop a very strong, well-engineered frame. So the fact that they went as far as doing all of that in their engineering process really does show in the Thunder 1 with a very good looking frame that is strong and comfortable to ride. Now, adding more strength and durability to this frame, Velotric has included forged dropouts into this frame that add extra strength and stiffness and durability when mounting that rear hub motor. And up front, we see a Novatec Thru-Axle. A Thru-Axle is a different axle type that we see a lot in higher end bikes and specifically in mountain bikes. It is a little bit larger than your standard quick release axle, but it does add extra strength without adding much more weight. And rather than it using a quick release lever, it will use a hex key or an Allen wrench to unthread that from the bike. So it does add an extra level of security, as most people don't go walking around with hex keys in their pocket. The Thunder 1 as a flat bar electric gravel bike has a relatively safe and comfortable and really confidence-inspiring geometry that would be comfortable for most riders. This size large that we had on test has a 447mm reach with a 565mm stack height. That just allows me at 6 feet tall to not feel overly stretched out and bent over the bike and bring my hands up a little bit higher and be more relaxed, which is great for riding around town. All of the models share a 71-degree head tube angle with a 73-degree seat tube angle, which is pretty common when it comes to gravel bikes. And they all have a 445 millimeter chainstay. Overall, the wheelbases between all the different sizes is just over 1,000 millimeters, which makes it really comfortable when you're riding around town, and that longer wheelbase just gives you a little bit more stability when you are going faster on maybe a downhill or just pedaling well with that pedal assist in a higher pedal mode. As a lightweight electric bike, it is really comfortable around town, and as I mentioned before, that Shimano drivetrain, Tektro brakes, there's a lot of high quality components from quality brands on this bike. The seat is a Cell Royale SRX saddle. On the gravel edition, it's a little bit more low profile and slim, and on the Thunder 1 ST, it is a slightly wider saddle, but still a Cell Royale SRX quality grade saddle that is spec'd on that bike additionally. Something that we were excited to see on this is the inclusion of a narrow wide chainring. And for an under $2,000 bike, it's nice to see that narrow wide chainring on there. This will just aid in creating a better contact for your pedaling platform, as well as extending the life of that chain by having a more secure contact with the chain on that chainring. The Thunder 1 has a 700 by 38C gravel E-rated tire on there that does have a puncture resistance lining as well. Just nice to see E-rated tires on these bikes. Even at 36 pounds, we like to see that E-Spec on there. That spec on the tires, as well as that UL certification on the battery. It's nice to have components in these bikes that are up to that standard of where bikes need to be. And if you live in an area that is being more critical and looking out for those ratings and looking for those certifications, all of the bikes from Velotric, including the Thunder 1, do meet those certs to keep them compliant with your local laws. The Thunder 1 ST specs a 700 by 40C more urban focused tire. It does have that puncture resistance in it as well, and it is also E-rated. Both models can spec up to a 45C tire, which is something that we will explore as that opens up a lot of options for different tires to try on this bike. And as the tires get bigger, you are adding a little extra edge of comfort on chattery terrain, just because more tire means more comfort. In our time riding the Thunder 1 and the Thunder 1 ST, we've walked away feeling very impressed with the comfort and overall power supply of this bike. It by itself rolls very smoothly and it's very comfortable. The smart tech and features that they've included into the Thunder 1 I think justifies that $400 gap between both models, and it's probably what I would lean for between the two. It is nice to have that connectivity with an app to be able to track your rides, as well as being able to set a theft alarm and have those Find My features. Obviously, they knew the Find My was important on both models, and they did include that in the Thunder 1 ST. To have that on both models and have that overall connectivity is really cool to see, and it's cool to see in a bike that is, again, under $2,000. We haven't seen that quite yet. We've seen a few with app connectivity, but theirs definitely goes that extra mile by including a lot more into the app and integration. We'll continue to expand on our ride impressions in our long-term review after we get more time riding both the Thunder 1 and Thunder 1 ST. We're looking forward to honestly riding these more and trying out some of our tried and true components. There are some parts that we just really favor on all of our bikes, and kind of excited to try them out on this bike. Maybe experiment with a rear rack and taking advantage of that 330-pound load capacity that this bike offers, and try some bigger adventures that we didn't quite have time to do in the springtime with inclement weather. Thank you for tuning into this tech check on the Thunder 1 from Velotric. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. We'll try our best to answer them, and if we don't have an answer, we'll be sure to reach out to Velotric to get one for you. We'll have a full write-up on the website with a lot more specs on the different models and sizes, so you can continue to expand and do your research there if you're looking for more information. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it, and it would mean a lot to us. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.